Welcome back to the Hooligans pitch. It's not just me this time. Michael is back. He's match fit, ready to go.
Like 80% fit. We'll call it 80.
Well, you're working your way back, so
yeah. I'm not ready to go a full 90. Give me like a late sub, like an Eze sub today. Just get me
Sure,
a little. Give me that minute breather, 3 touches, and by next week I'll be good to go.
Well, good. Glad to have you back. Last week, I feel like I grew into it as it went on, but I felt like I was just rambling the whole time.
Hey,
so
you held it down, man. That was great. I was a little offended by you saying I controlled you, bro. I'm never trying to control you. Okay, we just got a system here. We got it dialed in. But no, that was bravo. Well done. To go almost an hour by yourself. That's hard to do. I've been there, and I went like 15 minutes. I was like, yeah, I said enough.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I expected. And then all of a sudden, it just kept going. And I was almost an hour in.
You could almost just do a whole side podcast with just like Chad's thoughts.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll do a little spin-off here.
Yep. Thoughts with Chad. I don't know. You can think of a name. It'd be clever.
Yeah. I got some thoughts up there, so people could hear them.
So yeah, the last week was a little wild. I feel like a week of my life has been missing. Match week 16, Fair. It's kind of like it never happened. So going into match week 17, I feel like I had to do a little recap since we've been doing this every Sunday now for what feels like at least the last month we've been going pretty strong, besides the little international break we had. So yeah, getting caught up. I watched most of the games today. Yesterday, caught a couple. Friday, watched the game, and then I'm ready to go again this week. So we're back on track.
There we go.
Yep.
Well, to move us forward, let's talk drinks.
I'm going to start because I'm going the easy route here. I'm just doing a Spindrift raspberry lime. Just delicious.
Okay,
still trying to stay highlighted. I had a couple beers last night. I had 2. Well, I guess that's a couple. And I think that was enough for the weekend. I need to get fully recovered. And I got a fridge full of Treehouse that I'm just going to chalk one up every Sunday with you. So
there you go.
So
I like it.
How about yourself?
Well, I'm continuing the Costco beer advent calendar.
Nice.
It's all German beer. So this is the Schwarztint. It's a stout, which I'm not a huge fan of stouts, so we'll see. But here we are.
What's the percentage we're talking?
6.2.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah,
not too shabby.
It's not my favorite, but I'm not gonna let go to waste. So.
Yeah, why would you do that? That's great.
But before we jump into the games, there's a matter we need to talk about that is not Premier League related at all.
I don't even know where this is going.
I know. I'm springing it on you.
So improvised right now.
Unfortunately, the MLS has made a decision to exit the U.S. Open Cup in 2024.
Yep.
Which, being a Sac Republic fan and just, some Yanks that enjoy the soccer worlds, feel like we need to make have a little bit of chat about this.
Yeah, what does this mean exactly? Because I did see that news.
Yeah.
I said that's a bummer, but I really don't even know what that means.
Yeah, so U.S. Open Cup is our FA Cup essentially. Right. It's the Open Cup. It's open to all teams. It's been around since 1914. It's our longest running soccer competition.
We're just scrapping it. We're just saying bye bye.
No. It's still going, but MLS is removing themselves from it.
Oh, those little...
Yeah. So their argument is that they're going to take the first teams out of it and put their developmental MLS Next Pro teams in it to get them more experience, which sounds like a waste. I guess the Next Pro is pretty much third tier of U.S. soccer, so even under USL level. So, okay, getting players more experience, fine, whatever. You could do that while still being with your normal MLS team and just play the kids if you want to, right? But their other argument is that it it'll help with the fixture congestion that MLS teams are experiencing. So currently, if an MLS team went the whole way in Open Cup, you're adding 6 matches. So you're adding at least 1 for the first round they're in, potentially up to 6. So okay, fair. But last season they started the Leagues Cup, which is MLS teams versus Liga MX teams.
Mm-hmm.
And this one not only is further travel, but has a minimum of 2 matches added with a max of 7. So your fixture congestion argument just doesn't really fly because you added this in. I don't know. It's probably more profitable than the Open Cup, I guess, but it's not all about money.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the cup that Inter Miami won, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
They kind of, that was the game. That was the debut for Messi when he came in.
Pretty sure is that one.
They went on that run.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So that's a bummer. Just like part of these Open Cups, FA Cup style competitions is like, it's just, you get that magic of the cup, right? Where it's like the small teams versus the big teams and like some cup sets and just bringing big teams into smaller markets and trying to help grow the game, right?
Totally.
So honestly, MLS pulling out, I think, is pretty disrespectful, not only to the history of the Open Cup, but like to the fans, the growth of the sport in the States. And like MLS wants to be like the pinnacle of soccer here, but then you're removing yourself from our longest standing soccer competition.
This screams we're scared of getting beat by a team that's potentially lower than us and says we could take MLS teams. I have a filter on my mic right now, but I want to say so much more. Because I'm assuming the teams of the MLS, they all have to come to some type of unanimous agreement on this, right?
I think it goes. I'm assuming like their boards all like vote together and decided on this. But I mean, just to look at Sac Republic's 2022 run, they beat the Earthquakes, the Galaxy, and Sporting KC on their way to the final. And even in the final, they were beaten in it, but like held their own for a good 60-70 minutes in it. So
while traveling, not at a neutral stadium.
And then that's like, I think part of that, like you said, is MLS doesn't want MLS teams getting beat by lower leagues, but that's just cup competition, So I don't know. I don't like it. I know a lot of fans don't like it. I see a lot of them saying they're going to boycott MLS or boycott the Leagues Cup, but it's also off season right now, so we'll see if they stick to that when season comes back around. So I don't know. I felt like we had to at least bring that up. It's not anything that we talk about or deal with on this podcast really, but we got to be on the right side of this argument, I think.
I think we're in agreement. I think this is why we're probably bigger fans of European soccer. There's no BS. There's no one scared of an opportunity. And this just screams insecurity by these 29 teams saying we have these lower tier teams who are I'd say desperate to get to where we are. And this is their one chance to prove that they can beat us, which they're doing. And it's increasing the chances of a relegation promotion system coming in. I saw some interviews this last week doing my scrolling, just asking Europeans, what do they think of the American system? They didn't understand that we did not have a promotion relegation system. They were like, so what's the point of being in a league if you have nothing to fight for? And it was like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's about what, 50-60% of teams by the last 20 to 15% of their season for almost the big 5 leagues all around, when it just turns into a tank fest. It doesn't turn into a tank fest in the EPL. Are you kidding me? Could you imagine? Like the modifiers is like, we're done now. We're just gonna lose out. That's crazy.
Look, it's been a few months. We gave it a good run. just go have fun, guys.
I'm just gonna
Yeah,
reference. I'll reference the NBA really quick. The Detroit Pistons are on a 24-game losing streak right now, and they're saying, "Great, we're gonna get the number 1 pick."
See, that's I mean, that's kind of a thing in all American sports, I guess, is, if you do badly, you get a better pick, and like fans kind of cope that way, I guess. But that's not as fun, because then you get to watch that season and your team continues to be trash, and you just like,
there's no point.
All right, yeah, we're not really fighting for anything. If anything, I'm hoping we do worse to make sure we get the number 1 pick.
They're
Right?
gonna get mad about a win coming up, guaranteed.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the nice part of the Open Cup is you do get to see some of that, interleague, competition, and see that some USL teams are maybe not at the top end of MLS, but could certainly fight at the lower end. And, we're at a proper promotion relegation system, potentially work their way up and stay up. But same way, Sac Republic last season, I think it was their first game in Open Cup. They played some like random small team, I think from Oakland, and like very nearly went out to them, but brought it back right at the end to get past it. And like watching that sucked, but that's also just like that like little bit of cup magic moment, right? Of this small team that has no business really causing this much issue, almost knocking out a big team right away.
We'll never see.
So yeah, MLS says they'll reassess in 2024 after, I guess, that the Open Cup completes. But unless there's big pushback or some big policy change that the U.S. Soccer Federation wants to implement, like they don't really have a reason to go back on their stance now.
What's the overall fan opinion on this? Are we in the common ground of saying y'all are little weenies backing out of this thing?
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit hard to tell the general sense because like Reddit is mostly soccer fans and supporters of teams, so you're a little bit more involved than just your general fan. But
what about the MLS fans though? Like, are they being like, what are we doing? Why are we? Or are they like, yeah, we shouldn't be in this anymore?
I think most of them seem to be like definitely against removing themselves from it. If anything, they're all just calling for like changes to roster size and like salary caps and stuff, so you can have a big enough squad to fully rotate for these games if you want. Which I mean, I like. It just doesn't make sense if you have these developmental teams, right? So like, I guess that would be what maybe you're like for European teams, like a U23, U21 team, something like that. So if that's part of your club anyway, then why not just play those kids if you want? But then if you do want to sprinkle in, some more experienced guys in there, like teams do in the FA Cup anyway, then do it. Like, I don't think you got to remove the whole first tier out of it just to try and get more play time for the young guys coming up,
especially after 109 years now.
Yeah, so
crazy.
Yeah, annoying, and we'll see what happens. But if anything, I guess it gives USL teams a better shot at winning the thing. So
the USL should definitely win it next year, right?
Yeah.
Well, Chad, should we jump into EPL action?
I do have one more thing.
Oh, you got more? Bro.
Not about Open Cup, but about Arteta's FA charges that he was found not guilty of. Dug through a little bit more of it. And the FA had some interesting takes in here, honestly. Their overall ruling was that he breached Rule E3, which is basically basically you can't make comments that are insulting toward match officials and or detrimental to the game and or bring the game into disrepute.
Okay.
Fair enough. This is post Newcastle game, so Arteta was on them about the VAR and reffing and stuff. Nothing too like pointed and personal, but enough to ring the alarm, I guess, for the PGMOL. So my favorite part to come out of this was that Arsenal claimed Arteta misspoke when he said disgrace.
What do you mean?
Because, well, they claimed that in Spanish there's disgracia, which in Spanish means like misfortune rather than disgraceful or anything like that. So
nice.
they kind of swung it that way initially, but Arteta actually came out in his hearing and denied that. He was like, "No, I said what I said."
Yeah, come
But
on.
that's been a nice little like meme going around throughout the club and fan areas.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so FA's charges were all brought in front of an independent panel who decided whether they would stand or not. Basically, they argued that Arteta's comments held more weight because he's more high profile and more public of a manager compared to like a smaller team or smaller manager. And the panel basically said words are either insulting to a match official or they are not. It matters not by whom they are delivered. So, okay, shut that one down. The next charge, FA said that Arteta's tone and delivery was vitriolic, incensed, enraged, and infuriated.
That's opinion based, though, so I don't know how you can really decipher that.
Basically, the panel came back and said that while some of his demeanor was maybe a little bit inappropriate, he spoke with passion and from the heart and in a carefully considered manner. So, again, shut that down. And then the final note was, and the FA kind of acknowledged this as well, but it just kind of helped get Arteta over the line, I guess, of not being guilty. Saying that Arteta's had like a continued effort of reaching out to PGMOL and like head refs to try and improve officiating and improve VAR processes and stuff. And there was a comment in there that he held this deep frustration with the calls that were being wrong. And was obviously trying to work with them to figure it out. And by Arteta's own admission, he said he failed to produce any meaningful improvements. So it's
ouch.
just not a good look for the FA or PGMOL here, I think. Like, again, I think managers should be able to comment on, calls, big calls, big moments, especially.
Then if they can't, then you comment on it after the game. You
right?
say something to us then.
Yeah,
hiding.
It has to be some way of like, if you don't want managers to talk about it or players to talk about it, then like you got to come out with a full and clear report of what happened. Like Dallow's 2 yellow cards today, right? Like, I want to see a report on that. Like,
dude, even VAR today was like, what happened?
Like, what? Yeah, so I don't know where this goes with Arteta. He's clear for now. He got another yellow card today, so
yeah, that one was pretty weak.
Yeah, but
I did see reports though this last week that Arsenal players reported that Anthony Gordon said that ball went out when it did get to that goal line, and we'll never know if he really said that. It's too hard to tell, but apparently that is the reports. I don't know who dug that up or where it came from, but
I mean, I think,
how do you even know?
That was a hard call anyway when you don't have a camera like straight on with that line, so it could have very well been out, or it could have been in by a sliver like they decided it was. It just, I mean, it's moving fast, and players probably focus on getting the ball turning around and getting it back in the box. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not too upset about the Newcastle game at this point. Like, it's long removed, but just funny to read through all those charges and just see the FA and PJMOL look a little foolish.
Michael Oliver, man, after today, I just want to know. I want to know what happened. He wanted that game to be about him at the end of the day.
And I mean, that's... I didn't see if Ten Hag had any compliment or comments on it or argument or anything, but I think that's fair to ask questions on that at the end. Yeah. Like, it's regardless of other calls in the game, like that 10-second span, all of a sudden you're out of player for the next game.
And he was wrong.
yeah, like that too. Wrong. The call was wrong anyway. So yeah, I don't know. It's hopefully we'll see improvement, but not getting my hopes up.
I don't understand why the refs don't lean into the coaches more, especially when they're trying to. I mean, it's definitely like a power trip thing. It's definitely a battle of egos, right? Referees are never wrong. That's kind of been what the last 100 years until VAR came into place, and even now with VAR, it's still kind of no one even knows if it's right or wrong when VAR steps in, and so there's definitely still a learning curve with referees and managers and just being on the same page, and I think it's just going to take time still.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd rather have the tools that are being implemented and continue to kind of expand that. But I mean,
as long as they're being used correctly.
Yeah, like
which they're still
it's
not.
All human run at the end of the day, so there's going to be mistakes, but then that's where like the VAR safety net should kind of catch that, or whatever other, if they're mic'd up like that'll catch what maybe Dallo said some really vulgar shit to him. I don't know, but like we don't know, and
we'll
we
never
won't know.
Yeah, that's the problem. And even Liverpool in their Europa game this week, they got screwed. From that goal that they didn't draw the lines for because they just eyeballed it. Like, yeah, it looks good. And it's like, no, it wasn't. That ball was clearly off. And yet they ended up losing that game. And we played a lot of our youngsters that game, and they did not deserve that score line, which is just a bummer. But it is what it is. It's disappointing that they can't get their shit together at this point of the season because we're about to hit a patch. I feel like a rough patch is coming. We're in that like middle of the season grind now, and
I mean, and it's just so many games back to back to back, so bad calls will just kind of snowball and look worse.
or we'll forget about them quickly too.
Or like, that
this Dallo thing could mean nothing in 3 weeks, and then we'll just totally forget about it and move on to the next thing because it's such a quick. We need to erase our memory and move on to the next thing as fast as we can. Short attention span. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's been a weird season, and it keeps getting weirder. I think after this weekend, we saw some things that we maybe didn't expected. A little bit of everything, I think, this weekend, to be honest.
Yeah.
I guess we can just start with Spurs and Forest. That was pretty, I think, straightforward. I think we probably saw the Spurs walking in there and outplaying them, but really this Forest kind of beat themselves.
That was my takeaway as well.
They were pretty bad. Like the Spurs could have maybe put anyone out there and they would have found a way to still win. Poor Matt Turner, man. I want the best for that guy, but that was not his best day out on the pitch, and I think he knows it. I think Cooper knows it. I just don't know. I don't blame him necessarily because you put him in there, sign him for all this money. He's doing okay. I didn't think he was doing poor, right? It wasn't really his fault, the things that were happening. Take him out, bring in this new guy. He does the same type of job. Not really his fault, but like it wasn't. I wouldn't say he's better than Turner. And then you bring Turner back in and be like, okay, well now we need you to play like really good. And I think that pressure just like stacked and kind of crumbled because every time his teammates passed back the ball to him, it just looked like he was so tense and not comfortable. Not like the USA team. Totally different.
Yeah.
Like he's like commander back there. Like he's he has the confidence. And here it's like balls at his feet. Everyone's like, oh shit.
I mean the kick that leads the Kulusevski's goal. I don't think his defenders really helped him there though. Like when I was watching it, he gets the ball and he's pretty quickly under significant pressure from
Yep.
Son, and like all his defenders are just kind of standing and
He had to take
not
two steps
really.
back and like try to find something to do with it, and he just
Yeah. So I think that's maybe a sneak peek of the bigger picture there, that there is just disconnect, whether that's because of the keeper changing or yeah, I mean there's just Forest has a lot of players, so maybe you're not practicing with that back line every day, and there's just that chemistry is just off.
I think that's their backline. Force's backline seems to be changing every week.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to be their three center backs because of illness or injury, or they're bringing in a new guy like the Murillo, the new guy they brought in, a 21-year-old. I like him. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nico Williams had a great game.
Mm-hmm.
He was hustling up and down the pitch. I think he had like 10 tackles that game. So he was running, he was moving.
Dang.
But Bali, he's 32. He has his moments, but again, youth is a beautiful thing, and he's starting to kind of age out of that zone.
Oh yeah.
And then Niakate, who was a staple name 2 years ago now, and now he's I guess kind of making a comeback. So it's Matt Turner playing with guys he's not normally playing with. So and you're playing against a Spurs team who is attack heavy. So not the best combo.
No, but I mean they still had 15 shots in the game. Forest did, so like
that's shocking.
Yeah, I was surprised by it too. So with some better finishing, they maybe could have got a point out of this. Like Tottenham had 12 shots with 6 on target, but the
one on target is
the one on target hurts.
That's what we're circling.
Yeah, so I think expected results, but I think Forest definitely made it harder on themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Any more on that one?
No, I'm okay.
Let's City Palace. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Because let's see. I caught this game. I was watching Castle and Fulham, and then I quickly went to City and Palace because I was like, this is going to be the way more interesting game. City going up, cruising, and then I don't know if they just kind of let their guard down. I think that's probably more what happened around the 60th, 70th minute. We did see Roy making 4 subs this game, so good for him. He got that last one with Eze.
I mean, yeah, and, do we count it?
I think you got it. You got to count it, right?
I suppose.
He got his minute in. But Palace just turned up the pressure. And I think Ederson probably should have been red carded in this game. I think that's probably the highlight here that we need to take away is if he's not in this game, this could have been very different for City. I don't understand how he, and not just he, but keepers in general, but mostly Ederson, how he gets away with doing these crazy reckless tackles outside the box, thinking he can be this, I guess, just a out and out player, not a goalkeeper, and make that type of tackle, and how it wasn't red.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it, and in my head it was, immediate red, right? It was, you could argue denial of goal scoring opportunity, but he certainly didn't play the ball at all, and he just kind of kicks through Mateta. Like, I think that's a pretty dangerous, reckless challenge. Checks all the boxes for a red card for me. So, yeah, benefit of that kind of keeper protection, I guess, and maybe a little bit of City favoritism in there too. But
makes no sense.
No, yeah, that would have definitely changed the game. But I think karma maybe came back around, and Palace was able to get the draw out of it. So,
dude, that Foden kick to the shin, holy crap, that must have hurt so bad.
Yeah, it just, I feel like this was this foul I think was on Pep, because Foden looked tired. It's towards the end of the game. He gives it away a little bit before that, and then makes this kind of like tired kick out challenge as Mateta comes in, and there you go. So
Heavy legs.
I think he used one sub that game. So like
It was afterwards.
Oh, was it after?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he brought in John Stones after that.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah,
to
so
secure the point.
see, like I know your bench isn't as strong as it has been in past years, but like if you're not going to use them, then these situations, not only this foul, but just City not being able to close out games, I think will continue to happen. Like these guys are getting tired of especially as you're entering into this festive period where games are coming fast and quick, and you've just had Champions League travel for the past couple weeks too. Like I don't know. I mean, I love to see it.
Oh, me
Again,
too.
my goal here is to just get City out of Champions League next year. So
That'd be
it's going in the right direction.
Pep must hate Calvin Phillips, right?
That is that maybe like the City board wanted to sign him, so then Pep's like, I'm not playing him. He's not my dude. Because
makes like that would be a perfect this game would have been a perfect opportunity for him to get in there up 2-0 at the 50th. But hey, especially because he's in the news right now, why not try to like get his transfer fee up a little bit, increase his value?
Yeah,
like this is the time when you're in these games when you can do that with some players. And I don't know, they complain about depth, yet they have these guys they spent tens of millions of dollars on that they're not playing. Kovacic, Calvin Phillips. I'm sure we can just go down the list on their Akanji. Like they're there, they exist. So
yeah, and I mean, I would think, having had 2 periods now over just this season of seeing what happens when Rodri is not available to play, and like what happens to your team, I would think he would, in these situations, be like the first sub of like, we're up 2, cool, Rodri, you're out, we're keeping you safe and fresh, and get Phillips in there, get Kovacic, fill it in. But nope, that's not Pep this season. He wants to stick with that team and make minimal change.
yeah, and now we're seeing De Bruyne maybe coming back in like 10 or so days, which I think I remember looking at this a long time ago, and I want to say his ETA was like late January, and I wonder if the spell is freaking them out a little bit, where they're like, we're gonna need you to hustle it up a little bit. And I worry that that's gonna be a problem for what he's gonna be 32. Rushing him back is a scary thing. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but he's a world-class player. He's been the best Premier League player for arguably the last 5 to 6 years. So if anyone knows its health, it's him. But the whole Haaland thing, I find that super, super interesting, with his dad dropping him on fantasy. There isn't a true timeline for his injury and his return. They have it estimated within 10 days too, to line it up with De Bruyne, but no one knows.
Because it's down as a foot injury, right?
I believe, yeah,
or ankle.
Foot ankle is I think the
so that could be
location.
I mean, severity of that can be at 2 completely opposite ends. Which at this point, having missed 2 Premier League games, I don't think he was ever going to play that Champions League game because it didn't really matter. But
right,
I think that maybe shows it's a little bit worse than anticipated.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to rush De Bruyne back now with how their season's looking. I mean, you need him back, but he'll take time to kind of get back into the groove and mesh with this team and how it's set up this year. I don't know. It's a risk. And so I feel like Pep's willing to take that risk.
Well, you know who they're playing when they come back, right?
No.
I'd say the second hottest team in the Premier League.
Second hottest? Oof.
Who's the only other team with a 4-game win streak? You got Arsenal. Come on, Chad.
I know. You're thinking Everton?
It's Everton.
Oh.
Chad, Everton's cooking.
They are cooking.
And they're going to go against City in 10 days.
10 days? They ain't ready.
They ain't ready? Okay, so they got Fulham for the Cup this week.
Everton at home, too. They ain't ready.
They ain't ready? You don't think so, dude? I'm pumped for this game.
Remember, yeah,
no. City had some trouble against Luton, right? Just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I don't know. I like what Everton's doing right now. They're confident. They've now had 3 clean sheets in a row. They get to see Tottenham. 4 clean sheets in a row? Holy moly. Wow. Okay.
Sure?
So, yeah, they're killing it right now. And then they get to see Tottenham this week and then go into City. So if they can get some momentum off the Tottenham game. So if they beat Tottenham, they beat Tottenham. You telling me they can't go in and beat City?
Oh, no, I'm saying City's not ready.
Oh, now we're on the same page. Damn, dude. I was like, Everton hater.
Everton at home, City's not ready.
Fantastic. I was like, damn, dude. Okay. I was like, what I got to do to change your mind here? Now say Doku, Holland, and De Bruyne all come back, and they're 100%.
Definitely, I think swings a little bit more in City's favor, but I think this Everton team, ever since the point deduction, the team, Daesh and the fans are all like,
we'll fucking care.
Yeah, like it's them against the world at this point. So maybe not an Everton win, but I think they can definitely pull out the draw, It'd
be wild. That'd be absolutely. I basically just look at Everton at the table and I just put 10 points on their name. And I'm like, that's where they are right now. It's better than Brighton, a little worse than West Ham.
Like, yeah, they should be right up in there in that top 10, which
fighting for Champions League possibly.
Yeah, that's crazy considering like how they've been the past few years, even how they started this season. It didn't look great, and then all of a sudden they started turning it on, get that points deduction, and then they were like, all right, we really turn it on now.
Lost the first 3 games of the season.
Yeesh.
You know what it was, Chad? It was losing to Man United. They said, what the fuck are we doing?
That's fair.
We lost to them?
Yeah, I don't know. I like what they're doing. They're fighting and being scrappy when they need to, but still staying pretty organized in defense. So
yeah, man, Tarkowski's got it figured out now. That's a big one for them. And Branthwaite, did I say his name right?
I think so.
He's awesome, dude. He'll just take anything to the face and just get right back up and be totally fine. It's pretty impressive. Like, he got kicked last week in the nose and just bounced right back up, and he's just like pouring blood. And he's like, I'm fine. I was like, oh my God, I'd be dead. Like, there's no way.
That's a proper Sean Dyche defender right there.
For real.
Take the hit and keep on rolling.
So teams are already looking at him. Spurs are looking at him. Everton said 40 million or kick rocks.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all. I hope they don't. I hope they don't sell him for 40, because I do think if they can continue this, I think they could definitely get more. And depending on what Everton really wants to do this season, I think he's a pretty strong player. And then we see Michael Keane score a goal too. Dude, that guy like comes back from the dead every like 8 months and scores a goal, and it's like, he's still alive.
Yeah, he pops up like and does great for the handful of games we see him, and then I kind of forget about him.
Dude, his run was incredible. He was just straight running in the box, just like throwing shots and getting deflections, and Yeah, this is wild. I'm like, what the hell is he doing up there? But yeah, Burnley didn't look so hot in that game.
No,
Not shocked, but also Everton outplayed him in every way. So
yeah, pretty much.
kudos to them. What game you want to go to? What's on your mind?
Let's talk Newcastle and Fulham.
Oh, you want to jump into it?
Yep, we're gonna jump into that one. Uh, you know,
Come on.
I feel like with how Fulham has been playing, this game would have been really good.
You're such a tease, dude. Such a tease.
I mean, I think it for sure is a red card on Jimenez.
Bro, what was he doing?
But yeah, like, what are you doing? Like,
he sizes him up and like, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
You.
Dude, it's so bad. And then he's like, oh no. It's like, well, you had so much time to not do that, and yet you still did it.
You know, flying through the air like full speed. Throw your like hip and thigh into the guy's head. Like,
I'm watching it now, and like he was just like kind of trotting to the player, and then within like 3 steps to the player, then he decided to like accelerate and just launch in the air. It made no sense what his goal was for that, and then just straight hip checks him in the face.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think. I don't know if Fulham would have won this, but I think they looked pretty good. Like, even after the red card, they gave Newcastle some trouble. But yeah, the game kind of obviously didn't play out as it would have once they go down to 10. But
it got away from them. You know, that's pretty discouraging to see your striker, who also was playing really good in the last 2-3 weeks. You know, what was shocking was the ref was going to give that a yellow initially, and then had to look at it and no, it's a red. I was like, dude, why would you not think that was a red to start? Like, it looked like, and he tackled Longstaff. He's pretty tall. I think he's 6'2". Mm-hmm. So
okay, yeah,
you had to jump pretty high to hit him in the face. Anyone else, he might have just jumped over. So I don't know if that's what was in his mind when he was running up to him, but that was very bizarre. That was a bizarre moment.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some people saying like it was Jimenez, like, kind of, I guess, retaliation after the elbow he gets.
True. True.
Which I think it's you know, certainly an elbow on him, but this one I don't think would be red worthy in my eyes. It looked a little bit more of like just you know, kind of trying to shield the ball, and arm was just a little too high. Mm-hmm. Whereas like the, you know, Bruno elbow on Jorginho was like a deliberate, yeah. So, you know, I don't think Lascelles should have seen red, but it probably should have at least been called a foul and a yellow. And if Jimenez is using that as like fuel to then retaliate, like, that's just, I mean, obviously stupid. And, you know, now you put your team in a pretty bad spot for the next, like 70 minutes or something. So
childish. It's a childish move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once that happened, I knew, I was like, this is done. That's when I switched, and I was like, yep.
Yeah. I think the real big takeaway from that is Schär and Joelinton both went off with a hamstring strain. Just adding to Newcastle's injury list. So
I think it's long.
I don't know. They're at they're 6th right now. You know, 4 points off of 5th. So they keep racking up these injuries. I don't know if they're gonna make that Champions League push into the top 4 this season, because like, you're losing big names every week now.
They got 12 injured on premierinjuries.com.
Yeesh.
It's quite a list.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see Marco Silva's comments about the reffing after the game?
Did he compliment them?
No.
No, then no, I didn't.
Some of the highlights were the referee didn't give one foul for Fulham Football Club. All the challenges for Newcastle, every time they fall, it was a free kick or whatever. Then he said,
did he say whatever?
This says he does. I don't know. He says, congratulations for Newcastle. These type of grounds, you need to have referees who have the ability to handle the pressure. They go always with the home crowd and the pressure. This is the Premier League. Premier League should have referees who have the ability to handle the pressure. And this afternoon is an example of a referee who does not have the ability and experience to handle the pressure with 50,000 people around. That is clear for me. Every ball, any doubt for us, he didn't give one. Overall, the performance from the referee with yellow cards, it was strange afternoon from the referee. So he's feeling some type of way. I'm just interested in this off of the Arteta stuff. Like, is Marco Silva gonna get the same, the book thrown at him in the same way that they tried to do at Arteta, or will they just kind of let that one slide since the Arteta one didn't pan out?
Bro, this is a, I don't want to call Silva an old man. This is a dude who is picking on a rookie official who is 30 years old. It just screams he's trying to break this guy. He's just trying to break him, right? He's trying to be like, you're shit, never ref again, like, don't ever come back here. And I don't know if he was a good official that game. I couldn't tell you, but this is his first season refereeing the Premier League. Ton of pressure. He's younger. He's younger than us. I can't imagine. I really can't.
I mean, and that's the thing is, like, I don't think. I mean, I only watched the highlights, so I didn't see every single call, but from what I saw in those, like, no call looked so crazy. I mean, the Lascelles elbow, probably should have been called a foul and yellow. I mean, to be fair, he gave a yellow to Jimenez's challenge initially, so he nearly helped you, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe not the best reffing performance in the world, but certainly not the worst that we've seen.
Yeah, bit harsh. This is rough. Sam Barrett, 30, younger than Fulham's captain Tim Ream. Like, damn, dude. Leave the young man
that's okay.
alone.
Tim Ream's not playing out there anymore anyway.
Yeah,
so
right? Calling Tim a boomer.
Yeah, damn.
Well, maybe I bet Silva was just a little salty about the red card.
I think so. Yeah,
that's fairly normal.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a quick little dive into to Chelsea and Sheffield, because I don't know. Sheffield didn't play awful, but Chelsea, didn't do themselves any favors. I think Sterling played great. I think honestly, that assist he had to Palmer was like the fastest I've ever seen him in a short distance, kind of that burst speed. It makes me wonder, is like, why isn't he doing that more? Why isn't he getting in the box and just trying to take someone on solo and just get around them as quick as he can? Because he looked really, really good there. And then Cole Palmer played well. He's had a. Yeah. I want to retract my statement that I made a couple weeks ago saying comparing Cole Palmer to Havertz. Recency bias was there. Havertz is flourishing, and Cole Palmer is not on his way of becoming a really good player. I think just since that day, Havertz all of a sudden he really turned it on after I spoke those words into existence.
That was it. You spooked him a little bit, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got to start doing things."
Because it was right after that he went and played for Germany, and played. It was literally like the next week.
Yeah.
Just gotta talk some more shit about people and they'll play well.
There you go. See, they're listening.
So yeah, not shocked. Chelsea won this. They should have won. If they would have dropped points on this one, bigger talks would have been had about Pochettino. You know what? If he put a loss this game, I think the head might have been.
Yeah, this would have definitely been one of those like big upsets. Like even as bad as Chelsea's been, like, to lose the Sheffields would have been, if not immediate firing, like, you're in like the hottest seat possible. But yeah, Sheffield's still kind of floundering, I think. But I don't know. Chelsea, I don't think looked overly great. Like, Sterling had his moments, and yeah, Palmer had some moments, but overall, like, you were playing against Sheffield, so you should look better than them anyway.
They got Wolves this coming week, and I think that'll be a good test for them, because Wolves have been kind of all over the place too, going up and down. And so yeah, I think actually that'll be a pretty good matchup. They need to get healthy first, but I could see the Wolves causing some problems.
Yeah, I think that'll be. I think it'll be pretty like back and forth in that game. Like, they both are similar in that they kind of like they have a good game on one end of the field, and like the whether that's attack or defense, and then the other end is like just struggles for some reason. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out.
I got nothing more on that one. Do you?
Yeah, I forgot. I saw this stat that was Chelsea's first back-to-back win since October 2022. So a year plus of back-to-back Premier League wins.
Wait, what do you mean?
Back-to-back Premier League wins. That was their first time since October.
They lost to Everton last week.
What?
They lost to Everton 2-0.
What is this stat then?
Yeah, what stat you looking at? What's your source?
I don't know my source now.
Some copium source.
I don't know. I'm talking trash, I guess. Now I gotta see this. I gotta look this up.
We need to know right now. We're not dropping this conversation because Chad, they lost against United on the 6th. They lost against Everton on the 10th, and then they beat Sheffield.
Hold on.
It's okay. We'll talk about who their top goal scorer is right now and what they probably need for the transfer window, because I heard Eddie Nketiah might be available for the right price.
Yeah, for the right price, I think it could happen, but I don't know if it will. Only because I don't know who like Arsenal would have to bring in someone else
as a backup,
or just in some ideally like level rotation with Jesus. I don't think you're getting Tony. I think Brentford's going to hang on to him unless someone comes in with some big boy numbers. Otherwise, there's talk of Victor Osimhen from Napoli, but
he had a highlight reel.
He's going to be very expensive, so I don't think that'll happen. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be. I don't think it'll happen. If it does, then cool. But
you think it'll be someone from out of Premier League? Kind of make the most sense, right?
Probably make more sense, yeah. Than
no one wants to sell to Arsenal.
Yeah. This false stat.
Are you on the Onion?
I wish. that would be a great save, but no. I just got it from one of the like Opta Twitters, and I'm not seeing it now. So,
bro, they deleted that tweet so fast.
Played me like a fool.
They're like, just the options where it's like show tweet to. It was like just show chat.
Yeah, that's fair. You got me on that one.
All right, Chad. We fact check here. We just got to make sure.
Maybe I'm predicting the future. Who do they play next week?
Wolves.
Oh yeah, Wolves. Yeah, we were just talking about it. Yeah, maybe. You can quote me on this
All right,
one.
quote him. It's first. Okay, wait.
It's me. Chelsea's first back-to-back.
They did it this season. They already did it. Chad, they had back-to-back wins in the EPL on October 2nd and October 7th.
Damn. Yeah, last year, right?
No, 2023.
2023?
Yeah.
All right, well.
All right,
don't listen to me.
We'll move on for Chelsea facts. We'll come back to those later. But hey, you're projecting the win.
Sure, yes. I'll give it to him.
Just to keep it going. Woo, boy, moving on. That stout must be killer.
It is. It's really hitting the spot.
All right, Chad. West Ham Wolves, since we've already brought up the Wolves. Kudus needs to be in my fantasy team yesterday.
Yeah, you're waiting too long.
What am I doing here? What am I doing here? He scored 2 today, and they were both amazing. Paquetá with the lovely pass.
Oof.
And then that cut in to get the keeper to shift his feet to the right and then to blast it on his left-hand side. Oh, my God. This player is so good. And then his celebration. Did you see what he was doing? Ooh, you know how many wanker we saw behind him? That was crazy. Man.
Yeah, he's looking great. I mean, yeah, Paquetá with some great passing and assists out there. I'm still not like thrilled with him starting on the right. I feel like I'd rather see him more central. I mean, both goals he was more like tucked in a little bit more centrally anyway. I think Bowen just operates better on the wing is I guess my main reasoning.
But we got Ward-Prowse to be more forward.
Yeah, I think this is generally like the setup they need to roll with. I would just switch Bowen and Kudus because you still have a pretty solid midfield with Alvarez and Susek, and then you get Ward-Prowse a little higher. Paquetá's also higher. He's sometimes been played further back, and you don't necessarily want him back there. You know, he got 3 assists today. He can create for you. So yeah, great goals. You know, all 3 of them were pretty nice.
I just wish West Ham was more consistent. I never know if they're going to come in and dominate or come in and just suck. Could go either way. Really could. So they got Man United next.
I feel like they should be able to do something against United.
Yeah. If it was United that showed up today, who's just going to sit back and wait to see what happens, maybe. But I don't think they'll play that way against West Ham.
Yeah.
I think West Ham is good enough, especially their height. West Ham is really good height, so that could definitely punish United. I kind of wish we haven't even talked about our teams today. Usually we do that first. We're saving that for last year.
Yeah, I guess so.
Switching it up. I wish Liverpool would have punished them way more in the height. And so maybe West Ham can do that because they definitely got some tall boys who can punish their old man backline.
Yeah. If you're gonna switch back to Susek playing further forward, that's probably a game to do it. Just so he's in the box more. But yeah, I mean, Kudus looks like such a threat, like especially considering him to, if you're saying right wingers like him to Antony, like I'm taking Kudus every day, and I've seen less of his play compared to Antony. Like
Ten Hog's like, wrong one.
Yeah, yeah.
Other winger.
What a good grab for West Ham, and Wolves. I think just like couldn't really get into this game, which I mean, Kudus got 2 goals in 10 minutes, so that kind of put the game to bed pretty early.
Yeah, it was done quick.
Yeah.
And then I guess we can move on. We'll go Brentford, Villa, and we'll dissect our teams. Fun game. I thought Brentford was gonna somehow get away with this one, but Ben Mee just got a little too crazy.
So unusual for Ben Mee.
I know
to look just like so like out of control and reckless. Like it was a bummer, because I think Brentford could have got out of this with the win. First half, I think it was kind of all Villa, and then second half looked like Brentford really took control, and they probably, if not got the win, I think could have kept the draw, but damn.
First red card of his career.
Is it really?
Yep.
Okay, who's your source?
Who scored? WhoScored.com.
Okay, good.
His history, 23-24, one red card. No other red cards since 2013.
Damn, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I said. It's just unusual to see Ben Mee in a situation like that.
Yeah.
So bummer. But that did kind of make the game pretty spicy.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That game got great afterwards.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's Neil Maupay is just, you put him and Emi Martinez, two guys that just love to like shithouse and stir the pot, and Maupay's not a great footballer by any means, but he's great at antagonizing, and Emi's generally pretty good at his goalkeeping, but also loves to antagonize, and to see them just come together and spark and light this fire was a fun watch.
Maupay's the guy that like pinches the back of your neck. And he's like, what are you gonna do about it? And like Emi's like, I'm gonna do something about it. And it was like, finally. I don't know. I don't understand why players are maybe upset at Emi for backing his teammates up. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter if he's a keeper or forward, whatever. He's on the pitch. He's his teammate. He's gonna have his teammates back no matter what happens. Maupay is just a little shitter. He's been a little shitter with every team he goes to. It's what he does. I don't want to say if he was on my team I would love him, but it's one of those, like, he's on my team, I'll at least be into it.
I think it's like a love-hate thing. If he's on your team, like, if his antics work and you get the win, cool. Like, if it's like today where he's floundering on the ground while your team's already losing, like, you're just wasting time anyway, so get up. But like, he also doesn't really score, so I mean, great to watch those two come together. I want to see more of it, honestly.
Give us like what hockey does, a lot of
exactly.
Give him some gloves. Emi's already got him.
Good exactly. We're halfway there.
The Watkins goal to end it, though, very fitting. His former club, putting it against them. I don't want to say we saw it coming. I definitely was thinking Aston Villa was going to come away with the win. I think momentum really shifted, and they got away with it to stay in that top three race. And with Liverpool dropping points today, it's just making me nervous that they're with us now.
They are with you now.
They're with you too. They're with you too.
Well, hang on. I got a little bit of space.
You got a little for a week.
I feel like Brentford had that in the bag until the red card.
They had it.
That would have been nice for everyone.
Mostly you and I.
Yeah, but that's just how it goes. Red card changed the game.
It's basically at this point right now, if City drop points, I feel like everyone can be like, we can drop a point or two this week and like we're gonna be all right. So I'm ready to dive into our teams if you want to start getting with it. I thought Liverpool lacked a lot in the final third of the pitch. Dominic and Salah were just not on the same page. So many passes where one was going one way, one was going the other. A heavy pass here, too short of a pass there. Just not on the same page on that right side, which doesn't make any sense considering their caliber and what we've seen from them in recent months. Man United sat back. I think Virgil's comments are pretty accurate. They didn't really want to win that game. there's been Virgil's been getting a lot of heat for that comment, but it's like they weren't trying to win. They were trying to get out of there alive, and they did.
Their first goal was to not get beat 7-0 again.
Oh hell yeah, it was.
So
I wish I could hear like the talk of just being like, all right, like let's not get destroyed. Like, was that let's not get destroyed. Like, we cannot get destroyed.
I think that's probably when they're setting up their tactics and strategy for this game. That was probably the first line of like, don't get destroyed again, and that kind of informs your very defensive setup, and just not really making a whole lot of effort to even really counter.
They had like one or two chances to counter. Our XG was around 2.6, and theirs was 0.77. I think the Hoyland shot to Allison's chest was probably their best chance, and I definitely tightened up when I saw that coming. Other than that, it was pretty sloppy from them. Nunez was a little out of control for me today. I don't really know. I think that 7-0 last time around, like, I think he wanted in on that. I think he wanted to do it again, and he was way too, I think hyper is maybe the right word. Especially going into Johnny Evans, like kind of like Jimenez, a little different because he didn't launch, but definitely went into him hard and deserved a yellow. He probably could have got a red today. It was definitely looking that way. I wouldn't have been shocked with his antics and that happening. I think this game showed us that McAllister was really important and kind of holding down that kind of box to box midfielder. I thought Endo played decent, not great, but decent. Our back line was fine. I think the change that I liked, and I was like, okay, I think we're going to come back and win this, was getting Joe Gomez in and allowing Trent to be a roaming midfielder. I love that move. I wish we could do that every game. I think it's when Salah doesn't have that going on that wing, I think that's when we make that transition. So it was cool to see. And then my last comment is Klopp said we played this game better than our 7-0 victory, and I don't know what he's talking about. So I don't understand that comment.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just to say like, hey, just because we drew doesn't mean we played bad, which I think he could have said that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
like we didn't make any mistakes. We didn't make any mistakes.
Yeah, like maybe this was more like dominant, I guess, in possession and creativity. I mean, you got 34 shots off. Like, you were definitely
was that the number?
That's the number.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't look at the fine stats, Chad.
Oof.
Oh,
yeah.
34.
34 shots. Only 8 on target though. So like it was definitely a finishing issue.
That's so
many. But that's not to say that like I think it's hard to compare this game and the 7-0 game, right? Like,
yeah,
the 7-0 is such like a outlier of normal performance. I think you'd have to somehow watch it without seeing the goals to really see if like Liverpool played worse in that game compared to this game, because like you see 7 goals and you're like, oh yeah, they played great compared to this game, or they got 0 goals, but I don't know. I think that's maybe just kind of some like weird coaching speak of we played great, but or couldn't get over the line. But
Manchester played much better than last time we played them. I mean, that's the truth too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they were organized. With like Varane looked great. He was definitely he made my player of the day just because of how good he played. And we couldn't get around him. Salah had one move on him where Varane bit on his feint to the right, and Salah was able to cut in. But that was his only mistake, and it was probably something that he just timed wrong, because Salah was the one to cut in. He's not gonna kind of dribble to the right around you. But other than that, I was not too worried about that game and how it went. I mean, half of Man United's team that we usually see week in, week out wasn't there.
Yeah.
Just bummed we didn't get the win.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was off the backs of, Varane and Onana, 8 saves, and some of them were pretty great saves.
Yeah, he did good.
So, he gets a shout out for sure, but I think it really just came down to Liverpool just not being able to finish today, which, happens every now and then to every team. But unfortunately, it was in this game where like so many people were looking forward to another dragging United through the mud, But
I wish. I at one point I was like, this game's going to come down to a PK because we can't get anything on target. And when Shaw finally hit the ball with his hand, I was like, yes. I was like, finally. And then when they showed it, I was like, there's no way that's a PK.
No can't way. Call it.
I like deep down, I was like, come on, please. But I was like, if they call this a handball, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. I think Dallo gets the 2 yellows at the end for dissent, which like made me think back to Nunez challenge on Johnny Evans, gets the yellow for kicking the ball away, and then does the like sarcastic clap at the ref, and I was like, that almost makes more sense of the like 2 yellows in the span of like 10 seconds, right? Where Dallo, yes, was angry and didn't agree with the call, which he was correct to be angry with that, but it looked like he kind of threw his little tantrum and then like that was it, and got the yellow, and then I didn't see him do anything else or even really say anything else, and he all of a sudden gets another yellow, and then like we said earlier, like even VAR was like, yo, wait, hang on, what happened?
It's pretty funny when they were like, well, can you explain what happened? And we don't know what Michael Oliver's saying. So yeah, kind of an unknown. He gets Christmas off though, so there you go. That's what he wanted all along. But yeah, the Nunez thing, now that he's speaking more English, I can lip read a little bit more. And he was like, thank you. He was like, thank you. He kept going like that to the ref. And I was like, oh my God, this is awful. Don't know what was in his system today to make him act like this. Not what I want to see. Yeah, kind of a bummer when I was watching my goal highlights and all the goals from Matchday 17. I was like, why didn't I see any Liverpool goals today? I was like, oh my God. I swear to you, I'm not even kidding, Chad. I like said that out loud. I was like, what? I was like, what? I was like, oh no, dude.
Yeah.
Like, they skipped the whole game.
I mean, yeah, definitely a bummer. But I think it's only a bummer because of how poor United's been and the last game being 7-0. Like,
that's kind of a bummer, Chad.
Yeah. Like take away from this game is pretty. It's good. Like you should have won for sure, but you certainly didn't perform poorly. It was just not finishing today.
It's more so, which we can just segue into this. It's more so. I feel like we build off of previous games. If we would have won this game with a thumping, going into next weekend would have felt really good. It's like we didn't play 34 shots and we couldn't get one past the keeper, and now we got to go against the top of the team or top of the team that is top of the league next week. It's a little worrisome, so I hope we can get our together and show up, because next week's going to be a doozy. I just hope we can get everyone match fit for. I think McAllister should be back by then.
Okay.
Jota's close.
He always scores against Arsenal too. So
he's close. It wouldn't shock me if he made a comeback. Robertson's due to come back by the new year, so we're probably not going to see him by this week. But definitely by January. So
I mean, like, just looking at the goals between Arsenal and Liverpool, like Arsenal is 35, Liverpool is 36. Both teams have 15 goals allowed. Like, we're pretty dead on even in that regard. So I think next week is going to be interesting. Like, it's either going to be one team's on it and one team is not, or I think it'll be a pretty like stalemate. Maybe not a draw, but I think it'll be that the team that capitalized on the mistake first wins, right?
For sure. And we haven't had a blowout win yet. Usually first half of the year, we always have like a 7, 6, 7, 8, something around there. We usually get like 2 a year. We haven't had any. So I like our goal differential right now without having that kind of big factored game in there. So yeah, your turn. Take it away.
Yeah. Arsenal versus Brighton. Brighton has been a bogey team for Arsenal, especially at home. Last 5 games at home, Arsenal's only won once.
Wow.
So this was a little bit nervous going into it.
How many draws in there?
Just at home.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
I know. I didn't have this up.
I got it here, Chad. I'll break it down for you. 1 draw.
Yeah. So, Brighton is a good team and certainly causes Arsenal issue. I think under De Zerbi, even has more potential too, because they play kind of similarly in that they will play out of a press, but also press you and tend to create a lot and quick passing and all that. But that was not the story today. Arsenal came out the gates pretty hot, making a lot of chances early on. Lots of good runs, lots of quick passing. Looked really up for it. Not like some of the games where Arsenal has to kind of grow into it or struggles the first half and then turns it on the second. It looked like from the get-go they were ready to go. So that was nice to see. But I mean, yeah, it was a little bit the same story as Liverpool today. Is like the finishing was just not exactly there. And I thought this was going to be one of those like the Aston Villa game where like Arsenal had a good amount of good chances but just couldn't put it away.
Right.
So that was getting a little nerve-wracking. But they keep creating, keep fighting. Corner comes in. Van Henke, I think, is the defender on Brighton.
I'm calling him Van Heck. I like
Van Heck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Van Heck gives it a little nod on, and Gabriel's just at the back post waiting for it, and luckily he gets it in the goal, which even when it fell to him, I was still a little bit nervous because he sometimes misses those easy shots.
He squared up. He squared up to it. And
it was nice and controlled, luckily. So that definitely took a lot of pressure off of my shoulders of like, okay, at least we got a goal. I think we can hang on to it at 1-0 if it comes to that. But I mean, yeah, shout outs to Dunk. He made a handful of great blocks, took one in the gut from Odegaard.
The one in the face that he got was like
one in the face.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, he was leaving it all out there, trying to keep that clean sheet, and nearly did. And Verbruggen, their keeper today, also had some pretty nice saves. It nearly was a very frustrating day, but kind of it worked out in the end. Matoma had this great run to find Gross, who should have scored off of that. I don't know how he did not. Thank God he didn't, because I don't know if Arsenal would have came back and got another goal after that one. But then our king Kai Havertz gets another goal. He's finally turning it on. He remembered how to play.
And when he's celebrating too, you can see he's genuinely happy. So I think that's important for him. Everyone plays so much better when they're confident, but you can kind of see the joy coming out now. And I did see a stat where he's now scored more in the past 7 games than he scored in the last like 40. So he's starting to come alive. He's starting to come alive on the. I guess at the right time for Arsenal, right? Odegaard slowed down on scoring. Saka has slowed down. Martinelli, had 15 last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. He's only at 2 right now. Yeah. So there's definitely been and I think the other stat I saw was between Jesus and Gabby, they have 2 goals in like the last 8 games or something. So like scoring is slowed down everywhere. I don't think just for Arsenal. I think across the board. Last year felt like such a anomaly with Holland doing what he was doing. And then we still had Kane, getting 30 when we had Saka and Martinelli on the wings getting, did they each get 15? At least close to it, right?
They were like pretty much in line, and like Odegaard was like right there with them basically.
Yeah. So I mean, we've been seeing a lot of goals being scored by these young guys. So I'm not shocked that the pace has slowed down. Again, I think we're going to hit this winter rough patch, and I think the World Cup did weird things last year anyway.
Probably, yeah.
It's crazy that was last year, by the way. So I just had like a moment of like, wait, last year, yeah. So I think the grind is just going to be a little bit tougher this year. I think everyone is just fighting. It feels like everyone's fighting a lot harder because every game we're like, oh, West Ham and Brighton look great. And like, oh my God, they look like shit this week. It's just like, So I think that's just on other teams trying harder.
I think it's that, and unfortunately, I think a lot of teams that come up against these top teams are just, they sit back, and Arteta had the analogy of wanting to go 100 miles per hour, but there's traffic in front of you, right? So it's like you got to work your way through it, and Arsenal's been pretty good at doing that, but it definitely affects the scoreline. So like for me, like Tottenham feels a little bit like Arsenal last season, where they're scoring a little bit more freely, but I don't think teams have really figured out how to play them yet, right? Because it's new system, different rotations in there, no more Kane to worry about, so it's like, who do we really target now? I think teams will come to that, and then we'll see if Postecoglou wants to alter tactics or not, or stick to his guns. But it's not as free scoring, I think, is last season, certainly, but at least players are popping up and getting goals when they need to right now. I think Xhaka got like 7 goals last year for Arsenal, so Kai's at 4 now, so 3 off of there. He's definitely growing into that left midfield spot. He got player of the month for Arsenal last month, so he's improving. He's getting more comfortable, getting more confident. And
he could do it again. He could get it this month too.
Yeah, it's coming up at the right time, like you said, when I think a lot of teams have figured out how to kind of push out Saka and Martinelli, and
sure,
now there's this new threat they have to worry about. So it's nice.
Yeah, it must be nice.
Did you see what's got to be the world's tiniest shin pad?
I did. I actually have that as one of my tabs right here.
Like at this point, what
Jack Hinchelwood?
Yeah, like we're allowing this as a shin pad. Like,
did you see the ref handing it back to him? It's so good, dude.
At first I was like, why did he stop the game to like pick up trash? Like, they never do that. And I was like, oh, that's a shin pad? What the hell?
I don't know. There's some law or regulation where you just have to have something.
I think that's it. But like, are we not getting a little bit silly now, where like this is allowed and like satisfies that rule?
The rule, Chad, rule 4.2 is shin guards. These must be made of suitable material to provide reasonable protection and covered by the socks. Reasonable protection. No way. That doesn't count for it.
No, it has to be made of material to provide reasonable protection, right? Not necessarily provide reasonable protection over the whole
just
shin.
The material.
Yeah. That's how I think they're reading that.
Wow.
Yeah, because that thing, I don't know, must have been what, like maybe 2 inches tall, if that.
They have it. I have a screenshot of the ref holding it, and it's roughly. It's like that big.
Yeah, that's just silly. They gotta
either just scrap that whole rule or alter the language on that.
Dude, it's Gen Z, man. Gen Z's like, we don't need protection.
Yeah, someone's gonna get like broken legs, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, maybe an actual like shin pad would help a little bit.
The one time I didn't wear shin guards as a keeper, I got my leg just absolutely thrashed, and I remember the ref going, "You're not wearing shin guards," and I was like, "I forgot them." He was like a disappointed parent, just being like, And I like ever since that, I was like, I wore them all the time. And it was just that one day I didn't. Of course, I was punished for it. But
of course.
But I had like the old school ones where you slip them over your feet and like they protect your ankle. You know what I mean? And
that's what I had.
Little Velcro to wrap around. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't got electrical tape taping into my socks. I don't got time for that.
Nah. Yeah.
That thing was nice.
Yeah. You just slide the whole thing on. Your ankle's protected. Your shin's protected.
Kick me.
Yeah. Yeah. But this game, I think it was last week before the Villa game, or maybe it was after. I don't know. Arteta was asked if he liked how Arsenal was controlling games this season, and he basically said he doesn't want to control games, he wants to dominate games. I think this game, especially the first half, maybe was almost like picture perfect of that, minus only getting a few goals maybe. At the end of the first half, Arsenal had 15 shots, Brighton had 0.
Wow.
This is the first time since De Zerbi's been there they haven't had a shot in the first half. So that says a lot. And then even post game, Brighton have scored in their previous 32 games. Arsenal shut them down. So this goal of dominating is maybe closer than we all thought. And even last week against Villa, like Arsenal, I think looked very, maybe not dominant, but in control for large parts of that game. Shots didn't fall the way they would have liked, but I think they're moving in that direction where they're gonna suffocate the team and just hang on to the ball all game, I guess, and get their goals and sit pretty. But I don't think it'll happen next week. I think next week will be a pretty back and forth match, but
we're gonna be punching each other at the same time.
Yeah, for real.
I do want to note on that stat about Brighton, it was 32 games in a row they scored. This is a team that relies so much on attack, and their goal is to outscore you, not necessarily outplay you.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, outplaying does mean outscoring, but they've also let in a goal 21 games in a row and counting. Yeah. So, they have this. I think they're missing some key pieces right now that are just still so important to their attack. But they got to figure out a way to get a clean sheet. They got to figure out something against 20 games. That means the teams that were relegated were scoring against you.
Yeah, for sure. It's still a big issue. I think a little bit is being overlooked that they did lose, McAllister and Caicedo, two pretty big parts of their midfield. But Brighton's just that team where they lose the player and they bring in some unknown that's of equal or better value, right? And generally that's worked, but I think maybe they just haven't found the right midfield pairing to really solidify that back line. Like Dunk's been great. Pascal Gross is back and he contributes pretty well.
They need Sully March. to come back.
I think it'll help, yeah.
I think he's the big one. And Estupiñán too. Again, they're having to go James. This is Liverpool all over again. They had to go James Milner and Lallana. It's like, I've been there, been there and done that with the younger version of those two.
Exactly.
It's hard. It's a challenge. So I'm not shocked with their problems. 35-year-old attacking midfielders and 38-year-old left backs in the Premier League. That's just a tough thing to come by. So hey, kudos for them for putting them out there and saying please try to get us by, but that wasn't going to happen against the top team in the league.
No.
yeah. Overall, pretty good weekend, I think, for Arsenal. City dropped points, now a 5-point gap. Liverpool dropped some points.
Yep.
Would have been even better if Aston Villa dropped points, but oh well.
Freaking Emery.
Yeah.
All right, and then just do a quick shout outs to Tom Lockyer and Luton Town and Bournemouth. That game will probably be replayed or something of it. It's 1-1 right now. Don't know what's going to come of it. Never really been in this situation before. I don't have any. I tried to look up like past events where it's been delayed like this, but there isn't really anything where a player had a problem and the game was canceled. Right move to make. You shouldn't be that game. That game shouldn't have moved on. I think Tom needs to shut it down maybe for his career because this is now his second. This is the second time this has happened to him, and. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, or no, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. He's at that point now where it's don't make this any worse than it already is.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. He finally got up to Premier League with Luton.
Yeah.
Maybe while I'm sure he's been cleared to play from the last one. Like, I think that it is just a different stress when you're at this level. Yeah. So I mean, like obviously he wanted to play and got to do quite a lot of it, but yeah, I think after two in such a short period, it's just not something to mess around with. It's not just another hamstring strain or
no,
another ACL tear. It's something much more life-threatening. So
you're playing with your life at this point, and
yeah.
For him being the captain too and the team leader to get him up, I don't want to say your job is finished, but you have no problem from anyone if you decide to stop.
No, and that's the thing too is like he has made such an impact at Luton that if he decides to step away from playing career, I'm sure he can go into the coaching and they'll take him in and so he can stay in the game in that sense or go into commentary or something if he wants. But wishing him all the best, but I think you maybe hang up the boots.
Yep, not a bad time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chash, player, game, and goal. Should we get into it?
Oh, yeah.
I kind of have a twofer here.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Kudus is just my heart. He has my heart.
He's got you.
I wanted to
put him in your fantasy team already.
I know. I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it this week. I think I am because I'm gonna check Trippier. I'm gonna check that injury. I want to get 2 in, but he's making my player and goal for this week. He had an excellent, I guess it wasn't last week, it was 2 weeks ago because I missed last week, so I'm trying to get my history down, but he had a brace, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 weeks ago as well. Did he have a brace then?
Perhaps.
Or maybe it was just the one.
2 weeks ago was Palace.
It was just the one, but he played great.
Yeah.
So he makes the cut for me. He's been kind of West Ham's new engine. They always have. I feel like they always got a new toy every week, and he's been the one that's kind of sticking around and being consistent. He's taking some of Bowen's goals away, but I'm cool with it. I'll take it. I just got to get him in my team like again yesterday
for sure.
So I'll call it how it is. I'll call him my player for right now. And let me know if you got any.
I mean, I think for player we almost got to do a package deal, like Paquetá 3 assists.
I know,
all pretty great assists. So I think it's a Paquetá Kudus package.
I'm good with that.
And then I think I probably like his first goal the most. His second goal was tight, but I think Paquetá's pass really makes that goal.
Yes.
Where the first goal was a little bit more of like Kudus just like doing his thing.
Drills it. So good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zach Penley who told me about him before the World Cup last year.
Dang. See, he's been on your radar for so long. No wonder why you feel this like calling to him.
Yeah, I've been eyeing him since, and then should have taken him from the get-go. So are you calling his goal of the week too?
I think so.
Oh shit!
I kind of struggled to find a lot of goals this week that really stuck out. So
me too. I shout outs to the Sterling assist to Palmer. That ball was fucking kicked.
Yeah.
That was a rocket off the boot. Ollie Watkins winner. Shout outs to that. That was a fun one. But yeah, those are definitely the highlights for me. Team? Palace, right? We said if you take points off City, it's got to be you.
Like Palace is definitely my first choice. I had West Ham there, for putting up a good display. Even Arsenal, just for kind of taking down their bogey team and doing so pretty dominantly. But Palace is doing the whole league a favor, so there you go.
And Roy's laugh, can we make that our episode picture? Because that is just, dude, when I saw it live, I was like, there's no way. Because it was a glimpse, right? It was so fast. It's hard to tell exactly what he was doing. I was like, is he laughing at Pep? And then when I saw the replay, I was like, oh, this is legendary. This is so good. He's just a fragile old man just laughing at his Spaniard coach over there, he's flipping out.
He's enjoying his time and cause some pain to these big teams. And
so good, dude. I want to there's a funny video if you ever seen it. It's from the old University of North Carolina's basketball coach, where they win a game, and he's pretty old. His name's Dean Smith, and he's walking into the locker room, and he's like kind of crouching pretty low, and like and then his team's in there. That's just exactly what I imagine Roy doing after that game, and it's special.
Yeah. I think Palace for sure. Team of the week.
Yo, meme of the week, team of the week.
Yeah. Oh, meme of the week, new category. There you go.
Man, we're gonna do it. I think we should do it, dude. There's so many good ones. The shin guard, the Nunez thumbs up. For sure, meme of the week.
All right, I'll keep an eye out next week, see what we can find.
Holy moly, Chad. There's so much untapped. All right. I like it. Got any more to say?
I'm just glad you're back. Glad I didn't have to do this one alone.
Dude, it was close. On like Thursday or Friday, I was like, I still can't talk right. And even now, I kind of feel like I have a radio voice now, just by the depth I'm showing off.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I can talk for this long too. I wasn't sure, but every phone call I had to make last week, dude, people were like, "You sound terrible." I was like, "I feel terrible." I was like,
thanks.
I just have to do this. So yeah, happy to be back. Thanks for holding down the fort. Thanks for getting Champions League done. I'm off of school now for the next month, so I'll be chilling. It's gonna be a chill month. No traveling, just hanging with the dogs.
Nice.
Kristen's gonna be off work, so it'll be a nice chill time.
Yeah. Well, you got another week of Arsenal on top, so Kristen can wave that flag around and sing you some songs. And
dude, she's so petty. Every time I was like, you know who you play next week? She goes, "Oh, I know." And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I want to hear how that game goes next week.
Dude, if you could be a fly on this wall at certain times, it's like, "Do you know what time you play tomorrow?" She goes, "Yeah, I know." She doesn't say. She's like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, whatever. Shit. Fine.
Damn, okay.
It's going to be a little feisty. It's going to be a little feisty. All right, Chad. Good to be back. With that, episode 55, the Hooligans pitched. We're out. Yeah. All right, we're out. Peace.